Yo, hey, what's going on? Back to Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices. Happy Monday. We are here, the first show of August. August is starting off well. We've been having that great weather. Bryan Sanders here with the community outreach organizer for Wisconsin Voices. Just getting back to everything that, this past weekend, I think was pretty busy. So we're going to do a little recap. And I would love to hear how everybody's weekend was before we get to our guest today. We are definitely bringing back Mr. Joshua LISTON ZAWADI back in the building after his event at Esserbrook Park this weekend. Again, we just want to make sure that we shout out to not only that event, but we also had some pretty big events going on this weekend. We also had Bronzeville going on, so everybody that went there, hope y'all had a great time. And we had Black Arts Festival downtown. Just talking to some people in the studio. Looks like Jermaine was in the building for. Jermaine, you said you went to just one, or you went to both?
Well, no, I went to Bronzeville yesterday for a second. Checked out my boy Wavy Boy,
Yeah,
gang, and they went hard on the stage. And then I just peeked my head in for the Carl Thomas.
Yeah.
Joint that was.
I did get to see him perform. I'm Missing You.
Yeah.
Through, I think that was Courtney Kelly. Shout out to Courtney Kelly. She be always in the mix. She's with my cousin Dee Dee. Shout out to Dee Dee too as well. They always in the mix. Some of the MATC crowd as well that was down there doing their thing, and friends. They just not coworkers, they friends. But yeah, I seen there was a lot of people down there. Common Knowledge was doing this thing with the poetry mix. So shout out to Milwaukee and everybody that's in the community that was doing their thing this past weekend. I enjoyed looking at y'all videos and pictures for the events that I did not get to. As you know, of course, Joe, and shout out to Joe as well. He is transferring over to a new position down in North Carolina, but we're going to still kick off and still do political topics, because not only is it important that we know what's going on throughout the state, but we also want to make sure that we're going through some of these local and Milwaukee topics as well. So what I want to do today is just start off first. We're talking about something that's impacting us all, which is this air quality situation. I know Be a Voice Radio was one of the first to bring it to you and talk about the air quality. So I'll spend a little time talking about that. As you do know, with the smoke is drifting down from Canadian wildfires and shrouded much of the Midwest, and Milwaukee is no exception to that. So today we're going to be updating what's happening, what it means to your lungs and for your lungs on Be a Voice Radio. Just want to keep in mind that we do care about our bodies and like to speak about what's going on, and just for the folks that do have health issues. So the Wisconsin-wide advisory has been in effect, and the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, or the DNR, extended that air quality advisory through at least noon today across southeastern Wisconsin due to sustained wildfire smoke. So the levels have been hovering between unhealthy and for unhealthy or for sensitive groups, and in many areas it has been considered unhealthy. As far as the Milwaukee's air quality index, local monitoring reported put Milwaukee in the unhealthy for sensitive groups range, with particulate matter PMs dominating pollution levels. Now, we talked about that before, how small these fragments are in the air. They mentioned that these could be as 30 times smaller than a grain of salt that we're inhaling through Milwaukee. So keep in mind when you're out here, for ones that are breathing or having breathing issues. Hazy skies and fair concerns. A lot of y'all have been attending the State Fair. Just make sure you're being mindful of that as well. So Wisconsin State Fair does continue this week. Visitors have noticed the sun dimmed by smoke. It's not just by a sight issue. It's health. It's a health one too. So just be mindful when you out there that yes, there is a overcast of smoke. For people that are going out there doing a lot of running, I see a lot of joggers and out there, and I think a lot of people are not taking it as serious as it is. Just be cautious of the air quality at that times that you're running. For my joggers, runners, and bike riders, because I did talk to a couple of people that were getting on trails and riding bikes yesterday. As far as the regional trends and public warning, smoke is expected to stick around into Tuesdays. We're looking at creating enduring health risks. So experts urge for caution, and especially for folks with asthma, people with heart or lung issues are in the mix with this, and children, seniors, and of course the pregnant individuals. So let's be mindful of the air quality around you. And why does this matter? As far as the health focus, when air ranks in orange or red or blue, excuse me, orange or red on the AQI scale, lightheadedness, coughing, and shortness of breath aren't uncommon. So, especially among sensitive groups, reduce time outside, keep windows closed, and use an air purifier if you have one. So, it's a good time to break out that air purifier. For fairgoers and outdoor workers, if you've headed to the state fair, if you're working outside this week, just keep your inhalers nearby and limit physical activity. Also, you want to make sure that smoke exposure isn't, as you know, that smoke exposure isn't just uncomfortable, it's cumulative and potentially harmful. And plan ahead for the week, so it could be some relief later. Humid and hazy conditions may return for before the weekend. So also just keep on point and just stay in tune with the air quality and look at updates on your phone as well. So for people that's having issues and how to stay safe, just stay indoors, use clean air strategies, air purifiers, check your numbers or check the numbers for the health. And of course, if you must be outside, consider wearing an N95 mask or K95 mask, but sounding like COVID again. Air quality in Milwaukee, baby. I'm looking at, even yesterday I was outside doing some yard work at my auntie's house, and I was like, ew. Shout out to the fam as well. We was over there knocking things out as we do. So yeah, go to the next topics. If y'all got any questions, comments, and concerns about any of this, or going to updates or anything, please get in contact with myself or anybody at WNOV 414-444-5253. Going to the next. So as we kick off the next part of the broadcast, I want to take you behind the headlines with a closer look at some key political developments on both, the Milwaukee and the Wisconsin stages. We got some historic career shifts and protest action going on, shaping up the 2026 governor's race. These are stories that touch families, shape power and raise questions about where we're headed next. So here's what you need to know about the political updates for pretty much this week and what we kind of missed last week. So Milwaukee County and local leadership. So you got Ken Laverne takes office as the Milwaukee County DA. So Ken Laverne stepped into the role of Milwaukee County DA in January, succeeding John Chisholm. Well, with 2 decades as prosecutor in this county, his leadership continues to shape local criminal justice and policy enforcement strategies. We had a protest last week too that was pretty interesting at Congressman Bryan Stiles' residence. So over 24 people protested a Death of Democracy mock funeral reception at Bryan Stiles' home in Wisconsin. This dramatic demonstration was they was carrying a coffin and cowbells. It was organized in response to Stiles' voting record. It received threats to access to medical care and his perceived threats to medical care. So authorities have been reviewing criminal charges that will follow, while Congress has still been doubling down for funding for member security amidst rising threats to political people as well. We know we did see last week in Virginia, I believe a young state rep or a political figure over there in Virginia, a young man was doused with some type of flammable liquid and set on fire last week. So we know this is concern. These are people's jobs, even though you got things that people disagree on in different lanes. Hearing about somebody being doused with a fire, being doused with chemicals and being burnt last week, or any of the stuff that's been happening this week has been pretty crazy. Looks like we had a caller real quick if they want to tap in. Caller, you on the air, Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices. Thanks for calling.
Yes. Good morning, Bryan.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm all right, sir. How about yourself, young man?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. Happy Monday to you.
Hey, back at you. I just want to say, Bryan, real quick, thank you so very much, sir, for being there and taking over since Joe went to North Carolina.
Yeah, Joe doing his thing.
He's doing his thing. Hey, but he's my Navy veteran. I'm a Marine. I was stationed in North Carolina at Capital June back in the days. So, yeah, to Joe, hey, job well done, sir, and good luck with your endeavors, Joe. And thank you for being here and leaving it up to Bryan.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna knock it out the box.
we definitely gonna hold it down. We definitely hold it down. I got David to hold it down for me, and we're gonna have just great guests coming through. So I'm looking forward to I always like change. Change happens, things be thrown in your way. You just gotta make sure that you take it, roll with it. So we'll just be
And
rolling
that's
with
what
the
I'm
punches and
talking
keep it
about.
going.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So, Brian,
Yes, sir.
Excuse me for not remembering your last name.
Oh,
I
Sanders.
remember,
Bryan
but
Sanders.
anyway, young man, I remember when Keon Jackson Malone had y'all on the show back in the days.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. Just 2022 was my first time going on with Keon.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Has it been that long?
Nah. Yeah, it's been that long. Yeah. It's short, but not that long. Yeah, but yeah, definitely was my beginning of my stage. But I thank you for calling in. I appreciate that.
And you're welcome.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, sir, again, thank you for being there, and thank you for what you do, Brian.
Yes,
and
sir.
Keep up the good work, young man.
I will. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right. Have a good day.
Oh, you too. Thank you. All right. Thank you for that. All right. So we go on to the next topic. We had talking about the protests at Congressman Bryan Styles' residence. Governor Tony Evers, of course, had decided not to seek a third term. So in moves that reshapes its 2026 political map, of course, Governor Evers had announced he won't run again. So launching what is shaping to be an open and potentially competitive Democratic primary, even among Democrats in the fields that remain fluid. So we'll be seeing how's that looking in the coming weeks and months. Sarah Godlewski's eyes on Lieutenant Governor race. So as far as Sarah Godlewski, she has confirmed that she won't pursue the governor seat, but instead she's weighing for Lieutenant Governor, signaling another shift in the Democratic field again. So we'll be looking to see what moves Ms. Secretary of State Godlewski is looking at. As far as the 2026 gubernatorial field advances on both sides, you do have GOP primaries already taking shape, with Bill Bryan, a former Navy SEAL, and a businessman, and Josh Showman are in. On the Democratic side, potential contenders include Milwaukee's David Crowley, Attorney General Josh Call, Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, who has formerly entered, and former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barrs, Mayor Cavalier Johnson, and Senator Kel DeRoy. So it's going to be an interesting race coming up. Policy developments and budget highlights. State budget outcomes will make the cut. Just recently, the 2025-2027 budget has spurred debate again, which it funds clean water infrastructure and includes workforce training programs. Critics, including criminal justice reform advocates, say it fell short in addressing broader justice and veteran needs. So we'll be looking at that and seeing what updates come through with the state budget and what outcomes that come with that. Also, another topic was rural homelessness and housing priorities. So providers report housing homelessness in rural parts of Wisconsin. So Democratic Governor Evers has advocated for $24 million in funds, but key elements were stripped from the final budget. This leaves many rural communities scrambling to bridge gaps amid federal funding cuts. So, sometimes you never really think about some of the rural, people, but of course, Milwaukee has seen a lot of our money shoot out to different parts of the state. I'm really surprised to hear that there's such a priority for housing in the rural areas, but I would love to hear more about this and where a lot of that housing is. And I'm curious to maybe bring in somebody to talk about that, in a professional. So if anybody wants to come in and tap in about housing in rural areas of Wisconsin, let's go ahead and bring you in. Pharmacy industry watch. So rising concerns over pharmacy benefits and managers has led to proposed legislation aimed at curbing their influence, potentially shifting how prescription coverage and access operates. So we'll be looking at, as far as pharmacy there, we've been talking about that locally with just the medical cuts and the budget changes, not just locally but federally, and just the changes. And we've been talking about changes with healthcare prescription costs and everything, and we want to make sure that we're on top of that, knowing that a lot of our listeners and people across the city do pay for different prescriptions, and we want to make sure that you are aware of what's changes and how those changes may be affecting you. So if it's anything that you want to know more about, if we need to bring anybody in and talk about that, we will make sure we do that as well. Why this matters to our Be a Voice listeners: just local power dynamics are shifting between a new DA in town and community protests, drawing national attention. You got statewide leadership changes on the horizon too. with an open governor's race, evolving Democratic lineups, and policy decisions continue to have real impacts, especially in rural areas and underserved communities where funding shortfalls and regulatory pressures are felt daily. So we will be talking about this more and making sure that you get the latest updates at Be a Voice Radio. Also, we got some key Milwaukee political highlights that I wanted to get into as well. Community zoning moves. Community and zoning moves as far as the legal dumping ordinance is passed. The Common Council recently had approved the new ordinance aimed at cracking down on illegal dumping across Milwaukee neighborhoods. This effort brings different penalties in hopes of cleaning up public spaces and discouraging neglect. I definitely am approved of that because seeing illegal dumping across the city, I just think it's just the biggest disrespect. And there's no way that we could track this when you're seeing these trucks and vehicles that you probably see on a day-to-day riding through the city, and then at night they pull in reconnaissance missions to see what's the best spot for them to drop off some tires. I mean, everybody should be held accountable for that. You got to be smart. If you got a business and you bring in a certain amount of money, you got to find the best way to get rid of your trash. Period. Don't be cheap and just throw your trash on the side. And this is how I really be knowing, like, either you just to the point where it's like, forget it, I don't care. Or you just really don't care about the city of Milwaukee. So you just a slap in the face to all of us, because we all got to see this mess, especially our bike riders, our walkers, our everyday commuters. You got to see this trash, and not just the garbage and tires. I'm talking about the headlights, all the bull crap that's left in the streets that we see every day, and Milwaukee is not the dirtiest city that I have been in my life, but we could keep this city way cleaner. And it take all of us to actually get out there and do something in our area, especially if you're driving through the same spots. I done got out, man, what was that? 2 months ago, I was riding on 64th and Flores, and it's a bunch of cars flying through. That's right where the new workforce development building is and whatever. And I look in the street because, the dump is going out that way. Man, people just be letting their stuff slide off the back of their trucks. I got to go that way every day between going towards the fam house and going back home, going out towards where I stay. It was about 4 or 5 fat pieces of wood, man. I'm talking about with the nails standing straight up. Man, I pulled over, man, got out, man. I didn't throw it in the trash because there's no trash around, but I put it around the curb. It was gone the next day. Somebody came and got it. But the whole thing is, at that time when I was doing that, it was like 3 or 4 sets of older women driving past, like grandmas and auntie ages, sliding through that same area. Now, what we doing? Slowing them up, because where's the uncles at? And who gonna pull up within that hour and some change to fix that just to fix that situation. So my thing is, let's be proactive on these situations and make sure that we, looking out for not just the stuff that's in our areas and our blocks, but if you got a path that you taking every day, and some people that are sensitive, I don't want to say sensitive citizens, but our more sensitive population, we gotta look out for them as well, and making sure that we clean in the streets. So little things like that, just to keep stuff out the way and keep people going, so we don't have our trash and stuff looking like other cities across the country. So, but thank you for passing that Common Council. Accessory dwellings and units, as far as looking at a push towards housing flexibility and affordability. Milwaukee has adopted to ordinance allowing ADUs, which are accessory dwelling units, such as backyard apartments or garage conversions, to increase available housing stock, particularly in high demand areas. So let me tell you, like, I seen this a lot in Houston, where they were able to use like garages, like I've seen garages being used for apartments and stuff like that. So that helps. I just want to make sure everything is up to code and being regulated, and not cutting corners too when we doing that and when we serving people in that space. So for our construction folks, our carpenters that will be in that space, they do hold a responsibility as well to make sure that you are applying proper electrical units, applying proper gas, applying proper heat, because this is Milwaukee. So if you're gonna be using an apartment building or anything in a space like that, make sure it's heated properly and insulated properly for folks. If you're gonna be soliciting that type of rental property out to people in the community. Public safety and policy as well. And we got some other topics that we could talk about that I'll hit probably more likely next week when it comes to that. So I know we didn't got to break time, and time has went quick, but these are just a few updates. I always make sure that we stay in line with the political updates that we have going on, and y'all know what's going on locally in Milwaukee. So if it's anything that you need to update us on that we missed, or if it's anything coming up that you want to share, please get in contact with us. And maybe before we get up out of here today, I'll hit y'all with a few more that's Milwaukee related. with Joshua Listen Zawadi from Melanated Daddy, Dad Doula, to finish up our interview from last week. We'll see y'all in a second. Well, all right, we're back. We're for Wisconsin Voices. And back to the show with the guy I get to finish up the interview with last week, Joshua Listen Zawadi, I mean, daddy, at Dula, city, everything. So we'll go ahead, one more intro for everybody that missed in the back last week. We got Mr. Joshua Liston Zawadi, father, community leader, and founder of an impactful grassroots initiative centering the power of Black fatherhood. He is the heart behind the Melanated Daddy organization, a movement designed to uplift, support, and redefine the narrative around fathers of color. Joshua's recent Daddy Stroller event on August 2nd brought dads and kids together in a joyful, healing, and powerful way that celebrated fatherhood in community spaces. So we're going to dive back into that story, his mission, and the movement behind Melanated Daddy. What's going on, my brother?
My brother, what's going on?
What it do, man? How you feeling?
Tired. I still ain't got no rest from Saturday.
Oh, real?
We're gonna figure it out. You know, Brownsville week kicked off this weekend.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah,
I left from that to Black Arts Fest.
yeah.
All day Sunday was Brownsville. I'll take a nap later.
Yeah. So how you feeling, man? You know, we was out there, and I want to thank you. You know, I had a good time out there, and it was nice to see some blood had kicked in. You know, that popped up. So I seen my cousin Brent Adams, and then Christopher Syfax, two of my cousins. Those are actually my second cousins.
So I know Chris is a dad doula alum.
Really?
So for his baby, he went through dad doula.
Okay.
I had no idea there was a cousin. I've known Nick for so long.
Yeah.
It made no sense.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's me, Josh. That's all. We all on the same side of the family. Or Howard, as you know.
Howard,
Howard the third, which is So that's his.
I still don't call him Josh. His name's Howard.
And Brent's dad is our granddad's their brothers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's we all gang. That's all gang right there. And then Quentin, that's my boy.
I grew up with Q too.
Yeah, I done known Quentin as well. So you got some great dudes out there. That's some real strong fathers, and I can attest to all them three that I know for sure. That they and the dudes that I met out there, they was some brothers with some some backbone, solid dudes.
Yeah. I'm still riding the high of what happens when you're intentional with Black fathers.
Yeah.
What can happen when you put us all in one space and watch it just go?
Yeah.
So much conversation, so much healing. My phone has not stopped buzzing from men still to, hey man, we got to do it. I'm working on it. We got you. We're doing that one. So next one will be in October.
Okay.
We solidified that. It's going to be super dope. It's going to be different. I'm not going to go too much into it yet, but it's going to be different in the way of where we're walking and the reception we're going to get when we get there.
Okay.
It's different.
Okay.
So it's gonna be dope. I'm excited for it.
All right. So it's time to get into that. So tell us the origin behind the Melanated Daddy. What inspired you to start this organization, and what? Because I know some people that probably weren't listening the other day, and we didn't get as much time that we needed. And what need were you seeing in the community that led you to step up?
So to be very honest, Melanated Daddy was a gift. My wife is Melanated Mama, and so on Father's Day while we were dating, she gifted me Melanated Daddy.
Okay.
And it was her way of saying you have a voice, and you have, at the time I was only a bonus parent. We didn't have Harlan. Oh, I had my oldest, but we didn't have a kid yet. And so she was like, this is your way of being able to channel all that bonus daddy stuff in one place. So it started off as a blog where I was just talking about the struggles of bonus parenting, how two becoming one is not easy, how to build relationship with a co-parent who's not present, all the different things. So it became my source of release so that I didn't take it off or have to carry that everywhere I went. And then it morphed as soon as Harlan, she got pregnant with Harlan. Okay. And the Melanated Daddy became the founder or creator of Dad Doula. And so from there, it grew legs and went a whole nother direction. But the original intent was just a platform to highlight and spotlight fathers who do the work. Yeah. So it started off with me sharing posts and highlighting random dads and to build my following that way. And it was super dope, and it was grassroots, it was organic. And then it turned into what it is now, which is the cohesive connection point between all the brands. Yeah. So Dad Doula, Life Redefined, Triple C, all that stuff will live in Melanated Daddy. Yeah, I like that. You got that nice umbrella thing popping. It's great. Many people have not realized the systemic challenges Black and brown fathers face. Can you talk about some of the stigmas or gaps you're trying to address within the work that you're doing? I'll start with stigmas / rumors. I'll start there. I think the biggest stigma that we're beating is Black fathers don't show up. I think there's enough data now, nationwide, countrywide, worldwide, that shows that Black fathers are the most included, focused, intentional group of fathers in the country. Black fathers show up at a rate almost 3 to 1. And but the data, the people don't read the data, they go off their trauma. Oh, Black daddies, no, you're a Black dad. Who you decided to create with, that's a different story. Black fatherhood is a thing, and we do the thing. Next stigma I'm trying to tackle is that fatherhood can be joyous, we had a ball on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
walk was fun.
Yeah, the networking was just cool enough for me, even though I'm not a father yet. Just the networking and being out there with other individuals. And your guy, man, I gotta get in contact with your homie that was walking with me and Quentin. I mean, he just, it's a brother that I just want to get in the mix and just catch up with. But yeah, he was just somebody we just walking with. I mean, just cool guy, he
Marcus? Is it Marcus?
Was it Marcus? It might have been Marcus. Yeah, a little taller than me.
With low cut.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Cool brother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, DJ. He do a whole bunch of stuff too. Yeah.
Dad do a little love. He's tapped into the network.
Okay.
So yeah, joy, and I think the next one will be fatherhood is revolutionary. We don't ever talk about how life-changing fathers are.
Yeah, break that down, man. What do you when you saying revolutionary? When it comes to setting the tones, it has to be, because I see a lot of dudes that do a complete 180 once they become daddy. Yeah. So tell me, why is that part of that revolutionary vibe that you talking about?
Partly. So revolutionary in the sense that I'm able to rewrite history with how I raise my children.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I'm a 80s baby.
Yeah.
So Jam for Peace, all the things was what we did.
Yeah.
And I went through the hard way, so my children don't have to have the hard way. Right. And so I am raising my children to be radical in the sense that struggle's not normal. You don't have to struggle. I will teach you the lesson with grace because I already struggled. You don't have to have that. You can have a quote unquote, like we like to throw out soft life. You can have another way of finding out the lesson without having to struggle to find it out.
That's right.
There's another way to do this.
Yeah.
There's a different way. Right. I told my wife a long time, I want trust fund babies. And I mean that. I want trust fund babies. I want you to understand who you are, but also have the privilege not have to struggle to be that. My wife's father was an artist in mind, but he worked for the bus company for 30 years because being an artist wasn't something he could be as a man in the 60s. That just wasn't a thing. No, you can't do that. You got to find a job and pay these bills. I want my children to understand both sides of the coin. You have responsibilities and be who you are. You have that right.
Yeah, create that option for them. Because a lot of us haven't been able to, and our community has been able to blossom into our talents because of the environments that we've grown up to. We got some outstanding folks that are amazing talents in this city.
Man, Milwaukee is the hotbed of innovation.
Yeah.
I'm so sold on that. We are the cure for every issue we can find. We already have it here. The issue is can I give your nervous system a break long enough for you to recognize,
for you to tap in? Yeah. That's real.
So those are the three. I think those are the three of the stigma side. I forgot the other part of the question though.
And the gaps you're trying to address. Yeah.
So fatherhood. A lot of people don't know this. In the state of Wisconsin, a father's only a father if the woman names him a father. This is what I mean by that.
Break that down.
I am married to my wife.
Yeah.
We have a 4-year-old child together.
Right.
I am not that child's father legally until my wife told the state I was a child's father. So I had, even when it came to school registration, my wife had to be the one to be there too. I filled out the paperwork. I'm the one written as the primary parent, but because she's the mother and they don't question that relationship, she had to be the one to say, yes, he can do this. Those systems have to change. Because if you want me to be a parent, then allow me to be a parent.
Yeah, because how does that work for parents and fathers? Because I know it's some fathers here, and you've met some that have that on the other end of being a single father. Is it complicated for individuals in that space for them to get documents and documents pulled and approved? Because if you have an absent mother, then it's going to be hard for you to get things done and get the processes done. Correct?
Even if it's not an absent mother, but let's say you're parenting across state lines.
Okay, that too.
And you have custody. You are the primary custodial parent,
right? And
mom gets them during the summer, which is the opposite of what they believe happens.
Yeah,
we just talked about Marcus. Marcus' mother of his children lives in Texas.
Okay,
he lives here with both girls. Apartment, schooling, all that had to get documentation from her, even though she's not the custodial parent, so that he can have the kids in school, so that he can have. You're the custodial parent.
Yeah, it's a backward system.
The system is so backwards, and so these are some of the things we're trying to change.
Yeah,
is you can't cry about fathers not being fathers, but then you don't allow us to do the thing we have to do.
Yeah,
right. And so that's part of the change. Also, from the dad doula lens, is paternity leave. Paternity and maternity leave are two of the biggest inconsistent things state to state.
Yeah, that right there is I don't like how as United States does maternity leave for women. It makes me cringe on the idea of having my own and having to think that she will have to be back in work in a certain time and this interfering with her peace
healing.
and her healing.
Yes.
That's one thing I think about all the time when it comes to myself being a father one day. It's like, wow, you know, they want her back at work at 6 weeks, and then you hear some of these stories. These other countries was at 9 months in certain spaces, and a year in certain places.
In some countries.
Yeah.
But this is why I have to do the work I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because we have to change the narrative, and laws don't change unless you make them change.
Yeah.
And so I'm actively pushing for paternity leave to be 8 months, maternity leave to be a year, paid for by the government, not paid for by jobs. These are rights that every birthing person and father, non-birthing support deserve. Number one, how can I tell her to sit at home with a newborn and chill, but you at work so you can't help her? That doesn't make sense. Number two, on the other side, okay, yeah, just rest. Breastfeeding a child is work. Having to go feed myself is work. Having to bathe myself. I ain't just popped out a child. These are not things that just come easy now. I have to learn my body all over again. Why am I learning my body by myself? So my wife and I are privileged enough that I can sit my wife down and hire a nanny because financially I'm there. But that's not a normal. So I was able to tell my wife, you don't move. The nanny got the kids because we had Harlem during virtual learning, COVID.
Yeah.
So all my kids was at home. So my wife would have to manage all three of the kids' school schedules, plus Harlem the newborn, plus herself. Nope. I hired a nanny, paid that bill, and made it work. Right. And so these are things that we don't talk about because they don't see the humanity in parents. They see it as money-making machines. And we have to change the way that we do this.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. We paying the taxes into a system. Why not have it something that's going to make a greater country for all of us? If the women don't have to worry about that, and then they push it to me. I mean, they have to worry about the stress of that, creating issues and more postpartum depression just by thinking them having to think about going back to work. So
bigger picture, we talk about the divide of households. What does it look like if y'all have made this child? You're now in the household with her, figuring each other and this baby out.
Yeah.
You now have a different way of understanding the person you created life with. Now that comes with education, right? That's where dad doula comes in. Let me educate you on what this time frame looks like. Let me educate you on how to be a support. Let me educate you on how to deal with your new emotions and not add those emotions to her. That's the other part that we don't talk about. We often talk about how hospitals kill birthing people. Got it. To some degree, that's true. Also, lack of support after baby kills birthing people. And we don't talk about that. What should I be doing as a new father for myself and this mother to make sure we both are alive and thriving? We don't talk about that.
Yeah. And look, it sounds like we need you to talk about that more. Y'all, should we go ahead and take it? Sound like a good break time for me. What you think? Let's go ahead and rock one break real quick. We're going to come back with Mr. Joshua LISTON ZAWADI a little bit more. All right, cool. Oh, yeah, of course. I'll do one more. Hey, before we go into break, then let me hit you with this question. Then, your organization doesn't just promote fatherhood; it embodies it. How do you define active fatherhood? We've seen a lot of activities, a lot of things across. Like, how do you support that in your day-to-day mission?
So
going into the break,
active fatherhood to me is not what most people practice. A father who's a thinker, is an active father. Because we understand systems and people don't get in the way of my ability to want to do what I want. So the active drive, the active attempt, the active pursuit of my children is active. Now how it shows up is differently in every situation. I have all my kids under my roof. Still,
All right, we'll be back. Big Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices. See y'all in a minute. We back. Wisconsin Voices. Yeah, tune in. Hey, call in 414-444-5253. That would be uno, dos, crato. Wait, uno, let me do that wrong. Wait, uno, crato, cinco, no, crato, uno, crato.
Siete?
Yeah, 5230. 414-444-5253. If y'all want to call in and talk to Mr. Joshua, listen to ZAWADI at Melanated Daddy. All right, man, let's go ahead and finish up. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about the Daddy Stroller event. Was happening a couple of days ago, August 2nd. For those who missed it, and for those who I had some people, my one of my homies wanted to go, but he had a extra date day. So he was doing this thing. Can you paint a picture of what the day looked like for you setting that up, and how was it? Because you was out there bright and early. By the time I pulled up, y'all was already in action. So what did the day look like for you setting that up?
So it's supposed to start at 10. I was there at 8,
okay,
9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Getting things set up, putting the affirmations out so all the dads can see
I like that too. I
affirmations.
took some shots of those. I like that.
Super dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to my wife. That was all her.
That's dope.
That's the artist to her.
Yeah.
My wife moves through affirmations.
Yeah.
Even for me.
Yeah.
She's texting them right now.
Yeah.
So it happens all the time. So we put the fatherhood affirmations out. put our table out, and then we marked the path of where we're going to walk. There was a suspected Trump rally in the same park at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I just had to make sure that we were not going to interfere or be bothered with any of that.
So it was a rally against the fascists of Trump. Yeah. So they was on the other end. When I was turning off a Capitol, and I've seen I see actually one of our executive directors from one of our partners, he was around there at that corner on there. So yeah, it was definitely going on at the other end.
And so we made sure we stayed closer to the Hampton side, then do our business over there. But yeah, we walked about 1.2 miles. We walked. Yeah. And there was no pace. It was just connection. We walked, we talked, we let our kids on scooters, bikes, all the things. And it was just beautiful to see connection of fathers. Because what we don't often see is what a fatherhood tribe actually looks like. I have one, but I have one because I had to create it. It wasn't something that the blueprint was already out. I had to find my tribe. And so just to give men the opportunity to find your people, find your village. Find dad you could talk to about all the things so that you don't have to hold this stuff in.
Yeah. So what you think about the fathers and the ones that's in our age group that need that connect with their fathers? I feel like it would have been nice, it's always nice, to see some men in our age groups with their dads. You think that is a space that needs to be tapped into a little bit more here?
So I have a theory, and my theory is very simple. The old heads didn't prepare us to be old heads. Yeah. Right. And so, which is why you see the young people doing what they're doing now is the elders are us. Yeah. And no one showed us how to do that. Yeah. So there is a space for it. I don't have a relationship with my father, which is why I'm such the dad that I am. Yeah. Because my father has not been a part of my life ever. Yeah. I just found my biological father family 4 years ago. Okay. So I'm adopted. So my picture of family is already different because I didn't know who I was bloodline until 4 years ago. Right. So I made my family. I have a family of choice. I choose you, you choose me, bet we in. Yeah. And that's what it is. Yeah. So there's a space for it, but I think it's a bigger space for our age range to just have mentors to show us what mentoring is. Because if we're going to change Milwaukee and we're going to reach these youth, it's going to be our age range that does it. They don't want them no more. That's pop on them. We are the next ones up.
They want the young unks now. They want the young unks.
And so we got to figure out what that is, what that sounds like, what that looks like. Yeah. And who else to do it but those who did it for us.
Yeah. I like that. Great answer. What was the community's response like after that? Got a bunch of likes and loves, and people was in my, oh, that's so sweet. No, and I'm like, look, I was there in support, man. It ain't, look, this is my boy. I known him since he was young, but look, I like some great responses on my end from people. A lot of hearts, a lot of loves, not only just Facebook, but Instagram. So what was that like for you and Symphony? How was that response after everything kind of chilled out and y'all was chilling? Y'all got to kind of go through everything that y'all did.
I don't think the responses have stopped yet. They're still coming.
Yeah, they are. I'm still getting them now.
I'm still getting them, but I think twofold. I think for the man perspective, fathers felt seen, and that was the point. I need y'all to feel seen, because if we're going to continue to do this job, we're going to have to be the ones to encourage ourselves to do this work. Because being a father is tiresome. It's a lot of work. It's sometimes not the best paying job in the world, but you know what? We got to do it. And so I want them to feel seen. On the other side, the partner side, things are opening up differently now for fathers from the partner angle. Organizations are reaching out to now want to sponsor things, partner, and create more visibility for fathers in a different way. And so I'm excited to see what that looks like. It's coming. And so this is really different. I did something because someone charged me to do it. Josh, you got to do something for dads. I want to see a stroller event. Bet, let's figure it out. Now it's, Josh, you've done it. Now let's throw some money behind it and make it better. Okay, let's talk about it. And so from both sides, the response has been amazing. I am always cognizant that I don't care about what I do as long as the impact is what I need it to be.
I like that.
And the impact was where it was.
That's what mattered, right? Yeah.
The impact was there.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. And it definitely was there. even just my people that was with me that came. It was just a really nice event. I mean, people just appreciate seeing that. You don't get to see that type of energy out here too much. So I think that if I'm not mistaken, I ain't see nobody else out here pushing, in our city just moving like that. That's why we have to put the support behind you and show and get you highlighted. Absolutely. You got to know that it's young guys out here. It's young guys that, like I said, I didn't get to see him, but it's a young brother that live in my apartment complex. And, I had through him some job leads earlier this week because he's like, man, I just want to get back to dietary aid. Luckily, he talks to the right guy, worked in workforce services for years. It's easy for me to, sift out the ones that's good and legit. So he said he's been applying to the ones that I sent him. He's been looking at some promising leads, but he's a young guy that would be, locking in with you would be perfect. He's a young father, you know what I'm saying? Even him having a mentor, if it's not you on the team that want to take him underneath the wing, I know you got some dad doulas that can work with him, or Marcus, or you know what I'm saying, or Q, or somebody, Quentin, or whoever that can work with him. But I'm gonna tap you in with him because I see a lot of potential in that young man. And I think that he's another young brother he's 22, and I think he's at that state, that he's in that mindset where he's right there. He's like, all right, I need to do this for my daughter.
Ready.
Yeah, he's ready. Yeah, I see it in his face. He's serious. So
and I think that's the part of being the unk that we don't recognize. It's someone saw that in us. Right. And so our job is my job to call it out in you. Oh, I see something. You're different. You build different. Let's talk about it.
Come here. What you need, bro? You need some help with job leads here. Boom. Okay. Now I'm gonna help you in another space. I'm gonna send you to somebody else in another group of guys. You know what I'm saying? To show you, because I can't help you in every space. I'm not a father yet. I know some of the basics of fatherhood. But I ain't even changed the diapers. So don't
give yourself some more credit.
Look, I know. I know a few of the fundamentals, but I ain't went all the way through there. But I want to send him to a space in the tribe that's connected to my tribe that can help him get into a space. And as I do meet young brothers down the way, I'm gonna be tapping them in with you. I'm gonna give them the best business number that you want to tap them in with. So
also, I think the next step after that is I tap you in, but then I also tap in with who I tapped in to check in. Right? People. The one thing I hate, and this is not an ecosystem issue, is we drop a lot of people. In that transition. We drop a lot of people. Once you drop a man, once you drop a father, it's hard to get him to come back and try again. So you got to make sure that transition is flawless. Because it makes sense, right? The difference in what happens to that person. And so yes, I love that. Tap in.
Oh, you already know. We're gonna make sure. He good between the two.
I got 1 million fatherhood networks for this brother. He ready? Come on.
Okay, cool. All right, so just going into some more conversations about as far as emotional layer, there's an emotional layer to what you do. Healing wounds, building legacies. How do you hold space for that healing while also, we talked about the joy, but keeping things joyful in the community and community focus. So I guess just as far as generational wounds, building legacies, how do you hold space for healing while also keeping things joyful and community focus? So you kind of highlighted, you talked about some of that, but of course you could tap into more of it. So
no one understood that this walk was more so for me than anybody else. I did it for dads. But this for me. I can't give you a single positive story about my upbringing with my family, with my mother or my father. Right. So the woman who adopted me, I love her. That's mama. But it was rough. There was times why did you adopt me if there's gonna be more pain? You could left me where I was, right? And so this was my attempt at healing 9-year-old Josh. As we're going to walk with our kids and be able to see the difference of their lifestyle versus mine. My kids have no cares in the world. At 9, I had every care in the world because I had to. My children are unapologetically Black. I was fractured as a child. And so this was a healing endeavor for me to watch my labor in real time. My children literally get the pleasure of being kids. They don't have to worry about all the other stuff, getting beat. None of that is on their spectrum. My children are kids, which is my form of revolution. And so this walk was more than for y'all, it was networking. Yeah, network too. It was a great thing. For me, I cried a couple times.
I seen you leading the pack,
watching my children just be children.
I seen you leading the pack. I took a shot of you.
Yeah,
you
I saw it.
I take a shot. Yeah, man. Look, I'm good at catching them angles, man. Look, after a while, some of you organization folks gonna have to start paying me when that bread start coming in. Look, I'm gonna need them side money, man. I'm gonna need them side dollars. I'm over here hitting them angles with y'all. Look, Josh, when you look, I'm gonna be watching when you run up the tab. Let me look, Josh. I need a trip. I need a trip to the convention.
I'm gonna bring you in.
Right.
Say less. I got
just give me a stroller with a puppet in it. I'll just walk. I'm good. No, but man, I mean, I was just watching. You know, on a serious note, I just felt I mean, you leading the pack with the fathers, but you know, the energy it was there. You know, and then you know, we walking past these different groups of Latinos and the white. We got the, you know, even some of the white folks would slide over to the side because they didn't understand what was going on here. And it was confusing them. Even though I was talking to a group in the back, I was like, look at to Q. I was like, yeah. I was like, they don't even know how to comprehend what's going on. She went and shifted to the other side of the street, you know, because they weren't comfortable walking through this crowd of black fathers with strollers and all that.
Well, you're not. I don't want you walking through either. Get out the way.
Yeah, pretty much. And she did right. They went backwards. They went around. They went around and went around across the street. Yeah.
So afterwards, right, we had a group of white fathers pull us over, and before we left the park,
really? After I left,
everybody was gone. We was cleaning up.
Okay.
And they're like, so can we tap into? Yes, come on.
Yeah.
Bring your babies.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: fatherhood doesn't see color.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact of the matter is, we all have a job to do. Now, how you father may different from how I father, because I have to prepare my children differently than you do. But at the end of the day, I don't care what you look like. Bring your babies, of course, and come by.
Yeah,
come do this work.
Yeah.
And so the next event, please be ready for like a very diverse group.
And I like that. And I like that. And it should be promoted like that, because that's how we there has to be a way to bring Milwaukeeans together, because everybody's not going to go the political route. A lot of people who listen to this station, a lot of people who listen to these shows don't care about politics. They just wait to the reactive. Oh man, I can't go down 73rd, 72nd. So everybody's reactive. I should have went to the Common Council event and said something. So you know what I'm saying, being able to have a space where you proactively bringing people together so we can all come together and find a way to break down the silos. Like I said, everybody's interest is not going to be in politics or going to be what's going on in construction or whatever's going on in food changes. It's going to be father related. It's going to be community related. It might be, autistic child related, whatever the case may be. But we have to find a way to keep breaking these silos down in our communities. I'm gonna sound repetitive until we keep it, and while we're doing it, so we can have a successful and a more connected Milwaukee, not just on our northwest sides and west sides, but on the south sides and southwest sides, etc. Citywide.
The city of Milwaukee needs to be united.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. We got a couple more questions. I got a little bit more time left. Okay. Oh no, I don't. Time is gone. Okay, so finally, support fathers, connect with you, support your work, or show up to your next initiative.
So the stroller walk event was posted through my nonprofit Life Redefined MKE.
Yeah.
Feel free to tap in with me on Facebook. You will find everything I do there.
Yeah, tap in with me. I'll see you right to Josh. I got you. Man, I want us to say thank you again. I'm glad we got the full interview, man. You deserve recognition. God bless you. Work. I'll be over at the Creative Space. Come check it out. It's called Creative House. Creative House as well. You already know I'll be there. Thank you again. You boys heard it was Wisconsin Voices. ZAWADI.